Yes. Now you want to put your mute on. Okay. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Melissa.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is
Good.
Dave Reeser. Dave Reeser.
Dave, this is Jim. Have you been officially appointed or are you in training?
Yes and yes. I'm always in training. You know that.
Right.
Hey, Steve,
Good morning, or good afternoon, Dave.
how are you going to keep those boys motivated?
I don't know.
Couple weeks, huh?
I don't know. One more week of this, then at least we get the playoffs.
1 week. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's tough.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, Tom.
How you doing, Dave?
Great, thank you.
Good.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Dave, welcome to the committee.
Well, thank you.
Hey, John, mine's coming in a little darker than yours.
I think you're a little younger than I.
I only have a couple gray spots.
You look very distinguished, Keith.
Thank you, Bill. Wednesday's deer season in New York. After that, it's coming back off.
Yeah.
But how do I look, Bill?
John, you always look distinguished.
Hey.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that one.
Hey, Tom Mole, when you drove by me yesterday going across the boulevard, did you almost get hit?
Yep.
I heard the honking.
Yeah, a lady came down. She didn't even slow down for the stop sign.
Oh, jeez.
She went through it about 50 miles an hour. And then give me the finger.
Oh, of course.
Oh, well.
Maybe you should complain to the committee.
Oh, man.
I lived here 33 years. I can't believe I never got hit.
I'd be careful saying that.
Yeah, I'd be careful, John.
Yeah.
All you need to do, John's get a new car.
Yeah, that's it.
Get a new car. And they'll have a bullseye on it.
I'm on.
I don't know. Is Tom Boucher on?
Disappeared.
I thought he was on a second ago.
Oh, success.
There you go.
Success. I couldn't get in. It kept spinning.
Should tell you something.
Not yet. Like the spinning part, or I couldn't get in?
The spinning part.
Yeah.
part.
Okay, well, I don't know. Do we have everyone, Melissa?
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess we will call the meeting to order. And the first item is public comment. Are there any?
Yes, just quickly, the situation on Spiral Lane is the same. I don't know if can we get any answers. It's the everything over there is filled with leaves. The vegetation is growing, weeds are over. So based to the best of our knowledge, this is against borough code, but we don't seem to get a straight answer from you guys as to what is the deal with that path. Where do we want to go with that? So if we could get some answers, that would be nice. Other than that, that's all I had for today.
Okay, I don't know.
If the committee's in favor of me responding, I can respond to that.
Well, yeah, I saw you had gotten some information from Kraft, I believe it was. Is that correct?
Correct. So Kraft went out and did a full inspection of the alley from the top of Cardinal Road down to the very bottom and found no code violations. Leaves are not a code violation. We've never sent anyone an enforcement notice to clean up or remove leaves. None of the vegetation that is adjacent to either side of Spiral Lane is growing into the walkway in a manner that prohibits any type of access or getting through there, nor was any of the vegetation found to be in violation of the borough code.
Okay, thanks, Michelle. However, the observation is true that the residents are blowing leaves onto that path, and the problem is, there comes a time when it's impractical, and who's supposed to clean that or push the leaves, or how are we? I mean, are we supposed to walk on leaves? How thick are the leaves before it becomes an issue with the borough? That's what I'm trying to say. We have some limits. And I disagree. You say that plantings, the borough code says that plantings have to be 2 feet from the property line. And those plants are not 2 feet from property line. They're right at property line. So I disagree there with it is against borough code. And the problem is that being so close, the stems, even if somebody trims them today, in a week, new things spring out and they're right there in your eye. It just doesn't make at all sense.
I'm not aware of any borough code, Adrian, that says vegetation or landscaping must be planted 2 feet away from the property line.
It says trees have to be that. May I forward you that part?
Sure.
Okay, you got it. That's it. We'll take it from here. I hope we can resolve this.
Gotcha. There are a lot of leaves down this time of year, though.
I agree, but what I'm saying is, is our solution if the pad of, if the leaves are 1 foot high, is that a bad enough situation for somebody to do something? I'm trying to understand what are the limits. And like I said, those residents are pushing the leaves under the fence, in the gap from under the fence. Somebody blows all the leaves and they end up on the path. And they are a slip, they're a hazard. You can slip on them. And we cannot go with a blower every time we want to walk on there. That's the point. I guess the owners, the adjacent owners, should be required to, it's not a big deal for them to go with a blower. They have a landscaping crew. All they have to do is tell that guy, hey, go over there and blow the leaves. Boom, done. That's my point. Am I supposed to do that, Mark? So I don't know.
Let her send you the other part.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Let her send you the other part, Adrian.
I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you said.
I said let her send you the part that she's talked about, and then.
Oh, we'll start with the okay. I got you.
Adrian needs to send me what he's.
I'm sorry. That's right. You're sending it to Michelle. Correct.
But to be clear, there is no section in any borough code or ordinance that addresses leaf removal.
All right.
No, that I understand. I agree with you, Michelle, with leaves. That I agree. And we have to find a solution for that. That's a separate animal. What we're talking about trees and plantings within 2 feet. So that I'll send to you. The leaves, I don't expect, there is no, but my question is, okay, where's the limit? So, okay, I don't want to hold you anymore. Thanks. We'll talk later.
All right. Okay, Michelle, you're on again.
I believe my report is self-explanatory unless anybody has specific questions. 2 specific properties that are on there I'd like to give the committee an update on. The Wyomissing Hills Pool, Glenn Kraft and Chris Papata from Craft Codes met with 2 representatives from the pool board back on October 9th. The pool was suggesting that they lower the height of the existing retaining wall, cap it, and add drainage. Based off of Glenn's examination of the wall, he does not feel that will remedy the problem, which is really stemming from how the wall was originally constructed and issues with cracking at the base of the wall. That also would not address the wall leaning out over the public sidewalk. Glenn made the point to them, more permanent repairs are necessary, potentially removing the entire wall and constructing a new one. And the pool also was advised that, since this issue has been ongoing since the middle of 2019, this committee has discussed the possibility of taking injunctive relief to make the repairs on behalf of the pool and then filing a lien on the property. So the pool's going to take the information that Glenn gave them about needing to make more thorough repairs than what they had originally suggested back to their board, hopefully come up with a solution, and then get back to us within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I just wanted to give you an update. We actually have some progress there. The other update is regarding 1743 Reading Boulevard. The rental inspection occurred 2 weeks ago. At that time, the property owner was found to be in violation of the court agreement that was reached between herself and the borough last year at the county court appeals hearing, which was that she agreed to have no one besides herself and immediate family members residing at the property. It was found that there are 2 individuals who are not family members that are renting, and that she had effectively changed the use from a single family home to a boarding house under zoning and the Uniform Construction Code. So she was given 30 days to get rid of the tenants, return it to a single family residential property. A reinspection will occur the second week in November. And if she has not done what she was told she needs to do, we'll move forward with issuing a UCC violation notice for change of use and also a zoning ordinance violation notice for change of use.
Okay. I have a question,
Okay.
actually, and another comment. I had some people in my neighborhood ask me about a house which is kind of across the street from me, not exactly, but close, that they are in the business of doing tattoos at the moment, and it has become sort of I'm going to call it tattoo parlor in effect. I don't know what the deal is with that. I have noticed some other activity there, but I didn't know what it was. But some others who live behind and beside have asked me about that as a business, and I said I would ask, and I'm not sure. It would be, I think it's 1555, Dolphin.
That would not be a permissible home occupation. So if you want to start a business operating out of your residence, you need to obtain a business privilege license from the Berks Earned Income Tax Bureau. As part of that, there's a home occupation registration questionnaire that the owner or applicant needs to complete and submit with the business privilege license application. That I set up the questions to mimic what is permissible or is not permissible in our zoning ordinance. So are there employees? Are there exterior signs advertising the home occupation? What's the number of anticipated visitors to the property on a daily or weekly basis? That said, just knowing the types of permissible home occupations we have, and there's 3 different criteria in the zoning ordinance, a home tattoo parlor would not be permissible under any of the allowable uses, even through special exception approval by the zoning hearing board. So are you 100% confident it's 1555, Dolphin?
I am. It's well, I will double check the number. I can send that to you and tell you exactly what the number is, because I would feel better doing that before I say yes there. But I can send that to you, like, in an email tonight or tomorrow or something.
Okay. Please let me know, and then we'll follow up with the owner.
Yeah. What do you do then? Call them, or what do you do? How do you? I mean, I'm just curious. You send them a note?
Send them a letter stating it's come to my attention you may be operating a home-based business. Borough records don't indicate any type of approval or authorization, including a business privilege license, have been applied for or approved. Please contact me to discuss what's occurring at the property.
Okay, that's fine. That sounds like a good thing. My other comment just quickly would be, is Kraft inspecting things, is that efficient with the outcomes and the stuff that's, you know, overgrown or other things that are there? I mean, I see what they have on this list, but I think we all know, at least I do from my riding around, they could have a list 5 times that long with violations. And are they really working on stuff? All of it?
We have one inspector, Chris, who is dedicated to the borough. That's not including rental inspections, building permit inspections, and now zoning permit review and inspections. So, I mean, Chris and I are in contact on a daily, if not multiple times a day basis as to either his follow-up or he went out to do an inspection and, you know, just has an interpretation question, wants to make sure we're on the same page. I mean, it comes down to how much money does the borough want to spend for enforcement, whether hiring, you know, additional part-time staff in-house or, you know, paying for additional hours for craft staff to do additional inspections.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who else patrols. I mean, I know you're not out on patrol, you know, like you were, I guess, but I don't know. And that's fine. I understand one person couldn't possibly, you know, maybe be enough, I guess, but I don't know. I'd like to hear from others too, how they think that is. At least certain things in certain sections, particularly the older sections of the borough, need some real being kept after, that I see. I don't know what others see, but any other comments?
Would the inspections also include sidewalks?
At this point, no. The committee's going to have to make a decision. So, Dave, to answer your question, the borough's historically taken a hands-off approach with sidewalks. They never enforced the sidewalk ordinance. 5 years ago, we started the 50-50 sidewalk program. The decision was made at the end of the 5th year, we would start enforcing the sidewalk ordinance. Since this year was supposed to be the 5th year of that program, and we pushed it off because of COVID and uncertainty with the budget and funding, you know, the committee first has to make a decision as part of the budget process for next year if they're going to do that final year of the 50-50 program, and then if we want to wait until 2022 to start enforcement.
Yeah, there's some real bad ones, though, really bad with that too. Okay, well, any other comments about the rest of the stuff that people see, or?
Well, one comment I think we can correct. I noticed it today. Behind the fire station at the that training structure.
Yeah.
Those weeds back there are a good 4 feet, I would say.
Yeah, that would be on us. Somehow I'd have Dwayne, who does all of our road bank mowing, will have to get back there with that road bank mower.
Oh,
Okay, that's looking.
Is
That's
that the
looking
thing with
pretty
the arm?
bad.
Is that the thing with the arm on it, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tell him to head up Penn Avenue again there too from Clayton. That summer growth is really over the sidewalk there too.
To help you understand how craft works, I mean, we broke the borough into 4 geographical sections. There's Wyomissing Hills, there's Berkshire Heights, there's like the Birdland area, and then there's Old Wyomissing. So, you know, January in a typical year, January of say 2021, Chris will start in Berkshire Heights, work on that for 6 months. The next 6 months, he'd move on to Old Wyomissing. The first 6 months of 2022, he'd go to Wyomissing Hills, and then the last 6 months of 2022, he would go to the Birdland area. So, I mean, we all know he could be out at a property today, and a week from now, something starts occurring that's a violation. He's not going to get back to that property for potentially 2 years. That's where if someone's like, comes out down to almost like a neighborhood watch program. Like if people aren't reporting things or calling because they're concerned, yes, there's a possibility we're not going to get back to that property for 2 years.
Okay. All right. I don't know. That needs to be reviewed. I think I
this would strongly suggest that somebody review that. I can't believe it would take 6 months to do Berkshire Heights
Or Birdland.
or Birdland for that matter.
Isn't that the truth?
You know, I don't think so. I think
I would disagree to an extent as someone that's actually gone out there and done this. If you are doing it correctly with documentation and taking photographs, the time involved with taking the photographs, front of the property, address of the property, whatever the actual violation is, you know, downloading all of that, saving that in a file, typing up the enforcement notice, and then doing the follow-up, there's a lot of time that goes into code enforcement. It's not just standing at the property and saying, yep, there's an issue, we need to deal with it.
Well, I still think we need to review that somewhat, or thoroughly. It's not taking care of what needs to be taken care of efficiently. Efficient is the word I'm using here. It's not efficient.
Okay, well, I mean, what I would suggest then is perhaps, you know, we set up a meeting with Glenn and Chris to talk about what you'd like to see in the time frame you'd like to see it in.
Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a ride with them and you sometime.
I don't know how we do that during COVID and our employee policies, but.
Well, how about well, I don't know. We got to do something.
Okay, I mean, maybe we could set up a site tour walk that we can maintain social distance and just kind of maybe walk a block and have a conversation.
You could do that, or somebody can carry their Facebook camera around or something. I don't know. Okay, well, we'll have to do something. How about if I get with you and do something there?
May I make a suggestion as being on the other side of these notices? What I think could be done. Is that okay?
Well, give
It's just
Michelle a
short.
call. Give Michelle a call. How's that?
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay,
is
do that
call
so we can
call
keep.
the owner first, and you might be done in a lot shorter than having to write a bunch of
Won't
papers.
be.
Chris actually does do that. He'll leave his card in the mailbox, or if somebody's home, he'll knock on the door
I
and have
agree.
a conversation.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the best, I think, and you might be done a lot faster than 6 months.
All right. Okay, that was my deal for your thing. Anything else for Michelle's report there?
This is Mitch Shestock. Two quick things. First
Yes.
of all, thanks for getting the non-registered cars off of Lincoln Avenue. And number two, because of the renovations done at 1890 Brandywine Court, you're possibly going to contact the person who's doing the flipping of the property. Was that done?
So we were never able to get a hold of anyone based off the property owner information on the tax records. There was no phone number and no one responded to the letter that was sent. Kraft did go out to the property and, you know, looked at what you had sent me pictures of the pipe. And while they agreed it was a very creative installation, there was nothing done there that warranted a building permit being pulled.
Well, that I understand, but based on the renovations that were done inside, you were trying to contact them, and of course you weren't able to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
there's no type of registration required to flip a property.
Well, that I understand. But based on the things of the outside, my concern was the inside and some of the things they might have done. That's all. But you did what you were able to do, and I thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mitch.
Okay, thanks, Mitch. I didn't know you were there right away. Okay, anything else for Michelle? All right, then 2011 comments there. I don't know, is that Jim or Jim?
Tom, I think the owners are on the call. I believe I saw them. I saw at least Sal's name on the list. So
yes.
We kind of.
I didn't see that. Go ahead.
We had a meeting maybe, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago out on the property with
right.
Pirellos and their contractor and a couple representatives of the borough. And then I guess there was miscommunication last month. We didn't let Sal know about the call or send them the login. So I guess this would be their opportunity to share what they'd like the borough to do to assist them. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Sal, or whoever else is speaking on your behalf.
Sure thing. And I think I'm the only one here. I don't think, okay.
Go ahead,
Gus, you're not here, right? No, contractors.
I'm here for Gus today. He wasn't able to join the call.
Oh, okay. Was that Frank? Is that who I heard
Yes.
there?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I don't know, Frank. Would you like to speak on this topic, or would you prefer I do?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I go ahead. Okay. I mean, essentially, we brought the concern forward there. Essentially, my understanding is that we have a notice coming our way about some issues around the pipe, and our issues sort of predated that as well. It appears that there's a lot of sediment that is built up in the swale, and so that's causing problems. Then we're getting more water in the house, and so we're going to have to fill in around that pipe, I assume. But if we did that, we'd end up occluding some of that pipe. And along with that, the sediment in our swale, then the neighbors as well, you know, we've got swales all lined up. And even if we sort of take ours down, I think we still have the problem that we're getting more flow and it's not getting slowed down the way we'd like to see from the other ones up the way. So I guess ours was almost sort of an ask and a question is how the borough wanted to handle this. I think we think that we'll probably have to empty out some of that swale and sort of dig down. And since this is a little broader than general maintenance on it, we thought that perhaps we could work with the borough and come to some sort of agreement where maybe we can share some of the costs, since this is a water flow issue, not just a property.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Jim, any other comments on that?
Well, I think when we were out, there was obviously the issue with the pipe, which that NOV was sort of drafted, then put on hold with COVID. And then subsequently, when the Farellas reached out to have a conversation, we obviously decided, everyone agreed to just send an NOV when we're actively having a conversation. So, but when we were out there, it sounded like they might have had some groundwater issues contributing to their problem at the house. And then the concern was about the ponds. I guess, in speaking with Jim Babb, and Jim, if you want to jump in and correct me if I'm not recalling this, because now it's been a couple months, we thought that at this point it may just make more sense to repair around that pipe and not really get into excavating and dredging those ponds, because we thought it would just kind of be a cascade effect. If Farellas did theirs, then the next people would have to do it and do it. So I think that was kind of the consensus. But that was just Jim and I looking at it in the field. So obviously, this is something that infrastructure and council needs to weigh in on.
Yeah, that's how I recall that we left it, that there was an acute problem with the outfall pipe. The sediment and the dredging is more of a chronic long-term problem.
Okay, did anyone else from council get out there? I know the day you went out, I couldn't go, but I don't know if anyone else went along or not.
I did.
John was,
Okay.
yeah, John was there.
Any comment, John?
No, everything they said is correct as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
So,
Well, is this like an ABC kind of thing? Do the pipe, do the next thing on the list kind of thing? Jim?
Well, I think there is like the ABC thing of the pipe and the other thing, but if I was correct, and I may be incorrect, Sal, I believe that the Farellas were asking, would we assist somewhat with that pipe repair? Is that correct, Sal?
Yes.
Who does the pipe belong to?
Well, technically, the way those easements, when we were doing all the drainage studies, we had Century Abstract pull it, and the ponds on the properties are the responsibility of the homeowner for maintenance. And I guess what Kate and Sal had said in their contract with Gus on site was, well, we've no problem maintaining, cutting grass, all that, but they thought that the pipe was a heavy lift on them as a property owner. Correct me if I misstated that, Sal.
I think that represents it pretty well. Thank you.
Well, wow. I don't know if I'd want to shoot one right out of my head here at the very instant here. This is the first I've really heard about whatever there was, the ABC thing.
And I think, Tom, I don't think we have to make a decision today. I mean, none of us are sending the NOV to Sal and Kate. I think we've all kind of just shredded that at this point because everyone's talking. So there's no real timeline. And obviously now we're in October. It's really not the best time to do the work anyway. I think whatever would be done, I would recommend you wait till springtime to do.
We have a cost estimate on the pipe.
No, we do not. I don't know. Did Gus put one together? Was it somebody from Gus's office on here?
We have not at this time.
Okay, well, I guess that, there's two things then. One, the first thing is, obviously the ownership, and then secondly, cost of what we're talking about and what the long-term effect or outcome obviously is supposed to be to help them keep water out of their basement, I guess. Or out of the house, which is obviously what they would like to see, and we would too. It's not that we don't. So I guess we should discuss that further with you, Chris, and see where we stand with that.
Jim, can you help me recollect when we had the stormwater repairs over in Wyomissing Hills behind a couple of houses? I thought the property owners did all the work. Now the borough had done some kind of, maybe some of the soft costs. I mean, in terms of suggestions on how to go about the work or what the scope of the work would be. But I think the actual work itself was done by the property owner. Is my recollection correct?
Yes, we gave them a sketch of what to do, and then between Jim and I, we went out and inspected what they did. I think the borough ate all those costs. I don't think they did that out to assist them in that project. So, but they did not pay for the actual construction. That was on the property owners.
All right, and I'm not saying to the committee that that's exactly how this one should be handled, but I just wanted to remind the committee that there was another project in the not too distant past where we had some evaluation done of who would bear the responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one's a little bit different because that was pretty much taking, I'm just trying to educate everyone who hasn't been out there. That one was pretty much all the water from the houses that were built on Redwood, or it's not Redwood, it's above Redwood.
Depot Drive.
Yes, there. The street below is Redwood and Spring. This one actually has two catch basins on Lincoln that have storm sewer pipes that drain the road water into the ponds.
Okay.
So it is a little bit different in that aspect. It's not exactly, I think if it was exactly like over there, we would have just already given them that answer if that was what was done previously.
Okay, but there's a lot of road water that's contributing to the flow in this location.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Frank, is this something that you guys were going to put a quote together for?
I'd have to speak with Gus, but probably yes.
Okay. Maybe Tom, is that something that the committee would?
I'd like to get the cost and the extent of the project, I guess, is what I'm saying. How far do we go with it? So I'd like to see the whole thing, or whatever they think they need to do that part, and then we should review what's there.
So Frank, maybe a price to repair or / replace that pipe and the erosion around it, and then separately to excavate and haul out the material that's accumulated in the pond. Would that be doable?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
All right, then we can review that and discuss what part we think the borough might be responsible for there. Okay, Sal?
Absolutely. I appreciate your consideration of the matter. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, all right. And hopefully we'll have no more water this summer or fall. That's not funny, I know.
Fingers crossed.
So, yeah, all right, that's better. All right, okay. Thanks, everyone, for checking. Sal, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, Number 4, water system, Jim.
Nothing to add.
Terrific. And then we got sewers. How's that progressing there?
The contractor, we awarded it, as it says there, to Mr. Rehab. He will not be starting the project till the new year. That's the latest I heard.
Jim, does that mean there won't be any expenses incurred in 2020 on that project?
Correct.
How's that going with the budget?
Well, Phyllis is aware that we will incur no expenses for it in 2020. And now there's the possibility of not only this 2020 work, but an additional 2021 work, both going into the same year.
Yeah.
We now have a signed contract though, so the borough has an obligation on this work.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mean it shouldn't be done. I just was curious, but this is Steve Brunner on here.
Yep.
This kind of falls right into what we were talking about the other day, doesn't it?
Yeah, couldn't fall more square in that than that. Correct.
Okay, I get it. It's a perfect example. Okay, well, I hope you're having progress with that, but that's how that would fit in with that one for sure. Okay. Anything else there? I see capital project recommendations. Is that something separate there?
That should really come off at this point.
Okay. Cool. All right, then streets. 4th Street is up top. Oh, what?
Nope, I was just gonna say 4th Street.
Go ahead.
Okay, bars have started working out there. There's some clearing done. Farino's, they're sub doing the concrete work and handicap ramps. So they've ripped out some areas of where ramps are going to go in and where the 5 parking spaces are going to be installed on 4th Street in front of the Borough Public Works garage property. In that original, there's a change order 2 we're working out the details with right now. It's going to be around $15,000. Originally, when we did the design, everyone agreed we weren't going to put sidewalk along that from the maintenance garage exit entrance at Ole up to the alley heading towards Greenwich. Actually, when they started getting out there and working at it, and Jim and I were out there looking at something else, we looked at it, called Michelle and said, it seems kind of foolish that we're not gonna put the sidewalk in this half block and have sidewalk the rest of the way up and down the street. So we have the unit prices for the sidewalk and the other work. It's going to be right, just probably just under $15,000. We just didn't get a chance to get that paperwork done with Barwis, but we kind of need authorization on that, being that they're going to start that sidewalk and handicap ramp work next week. So it would be a change order 2 to add that sidewalk, and essentially is adding 2 handicap ramps along that stretch in the area of $15,000. It's basically unit prices in the contract, but because we knew that was an extra, we wanted to specifically bring that to your attention. Because the way our contract's written is we pay them by unit prices, so the unit prices for sidewalk and handicap ramps will just increase. And we can actually adjust this with the rectifying change order at the end, but we felt we should bring this one to you to make everyone aware.
Yes, I think so too. Okay, any discussion about that anybody has?
Well, I would suggest that the motion be to recommend approval of change order 2 in the amount of $15,000 with the specific amount to be adjusted at the council meeting, and based on, the finalization that Jim undertakes with the contractor. And I think you also should include in that motion authorization for the work to commence before the council meeting.
Okay, does Is there someone that wants to put forth that motion?
I'll do that.
Who was that, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to do what Chris just said.
That's correct.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second Dave Reeser.
Okay, Dave Reeser seconds. And any other discussion, any other questions?
See any more change order? Do we see any more change orders coming down the pike?
Yeah,
No,
good question.
not unless we hit something unforeseen. Unless something's under the ground that we didn't know was under the ground at this point.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
All right, then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, opposed? Ayes have it. So ordered. Okay, anything else with 4th Street there, Jim?
Hey, John Woodward here.
Yeah.
Michelle, do you want to comment on some of the residents' heartburn about that project and hopefully the way we will handle it?
Sure. So I was contacted by 4 different residents. One on only, the other 3 live on 4th Street last week, all within about 16 hours of one another. They saw that Farina was out there starting to mobilize for the curb and ramp work and raise, concerns that were similar to ones that were raised last year when we were designing the project about not having access to street parking on 4th Street. I had a meeting with Chris, both Jim's and Lieutenant Endy on Friday afternoon, where we went over all of the resident concerns, formatted a response that, I've since responded to all of them on Friday afternoon, have since talked to 2 of them again. One, we found a workaround that there's a way coming off the alley we can add off-street parking to her property. The other one that I've since spoken to has 100 feet of street frontage on Ole Street and has ample parking adjacent to her house, as well as ability in the rear of her property to create off-street parking. So the outcome that, the 5 staff members that met on Friday came up with is, at this point, the 5 to-be constructed parking spaces in front of the Public Works garage should be more than sufficient for the 2 properties on 4th Street that are directly across from where those 5 spaces will be. Those 2 properties on 4th Street are the only properties impacted by this project that will not have parking available to them or the ability to put in parking on their property that's off street. In talking it over with Lieutenant Endy, at this point, we're not in favor of doing permit parking. The suggestion I made to the residents was that, let's give it a couple of weeks after the project's completed. Let's see if those 5 spaces are sufficient or not sufficient to address your off-street parking concerns. If you are unable to find parking and there's a consistent problem after the project is completed, we can revisit the permit parking conversation.
And all these residents were notified way in advance before this project was even bid to what was going to happen. So Michelle and I talked a little bit yesterday, and if they want to have a meeting going forward, she and I will take the plans and, talk to the neighbors and try to allay their fears. But, I think we all on council think this is going to be a good thing for the neighborhood, not a bad thing. And we've talked about it for almost 2 years, and I don't know what else we could have done to allay their fears.
Okay, no, I think that was fair enough, that's for sure. Okay, well, that's a plan, that's good. All right, anything else with 4th Street? All right, how about street improvements for 20 and 21?
That's going back out to bid. Bid openings November 30th, so that then finance can decide what they want to do on that.
Okay, and that West Reading thing there, what's the comment is to be repaid later?
Repaid, yeah. We had an agreement with West Reading because part of this project was Hill, and they own half of the intersection of Hill and 8th, and we own the other half, and they agreed to pay for their half and their handicap ramps, which is roughly $20,000, but whatever their portion of that ends up being, we agreed last year that we would pay the contractor, and then once it was done, send them an invoice for their portion. We just had that in there as a reminder.
Yeah, okay.
Tom,
Yes.
other thing, this is one of those that we come to you with once a year or so, that the timing with the bid opening will come after infrastructure and go right to council. So I don't know how, after we open bids, how you want the bid tab circulated to everyone for that council meeting on the 8th.
Yeah, so because the next infrastructure for December would be obviously after that, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
We've done it before, I think, by just emailing out Jim's recommendation and the cost.
And the totals. Yeah, well, I think we can do that. When it's open, send them out, and we can they can look at it. We can just act on it on the 8th then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And then if there is anything to, discuss, or you guys have to add to it, we can hear about it on the 8th.
Yep.
Okay.
Are we talking about November 8th?
December 8th.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, December, Steve.
Thank you. Sorry.
Right, that's all right. Okay, let's see, what else? The curb notices, is there anything else with that?
They went out.
Okay, they're out. Okay, and now we got the alley north of Holland Square. There's a good one.
This is, I thought we may have gotten a letter from some residents there by now, but we did not. There's basically a grass alley that the abutting neighbors want to improve. There is some ordinance language to basically pave a stone or grass alley, and some rules and cost figures for that. So at this point, we just need to wait for their letter requesting this. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I thought we might have gotten something before this meeting, which we did not.
Okay.
And part of the conversation on this is going to be whether or not the council would require the actual paving, or if you would accept a gravel surface. But as Jim says, until there's an actual written request, I don't think there's anything for the committee to consider.
Okay. And that's north of Holland Square, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Was there supposed to be an A with this one, or was that scratched or something? I just went back to the top. There was B, C, D. Is there an A that was missed, or is that not?
I'm a tough grader. We don't give out A's, only B through D's. No, I think we took out whatever A was resolved and forgot, and it didn't auto update. We'll get that fixed next month.
That's all right. I get it. Okay. 7, hydrant requirements.
We should be on track to adopt that at the November council meeting.
Okay.
That's right.
And that's after the input from the
Yes.
okay.
The gentleman from the building code or the
Right.
builders association. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a hearing during the council meeting before you can make a motion to enact the ordinance.
Okay.
But all that is in place for action at the November meeting.
Okay. And he was satisfied with how we were going about that?
So far.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. The Public Works Facility.
I was contacted last week by Kathy Bruder, our lobbyist, indicating that the Senate committee that makes the recommendations to the governor to approve the RACP grants was meeting. She asked that I reach out to Senator Schwenk's office. So I sent an email to Senator Schwenk's assistant, Tom Gumbar. I believe John also called Judy's office just to request another push from Senator Schwenk to the governor in support of this project. I would anticipate they'll be announcing the grant recipients sometime in the next couple of weeks, but as of now, stay tuned.
Okay. All right, and then we have the number 9, storm flood damage there, that work, I guess. Jim, I saw some notes you had on some of that stuff. Any updates?
No,
Well,
no real updates on that.
Yeah. Well, we had one. Michelle Michelle, wasn't it county EMS contacted you about that FEMA update?
Donnie Swope contacted me. I believe we discussed this at the last infrastructure meeting. So PEMA and FEMA request updates to the hazard mitigation plan through the county every year. Tom Bauscher, I believe, based off my conversation with Donnie, you had given him the information for the Lincoln Brandywine area.
That's correct.
So that information has all been shipped back to PEMA, FEMA. FEMA needs to review it to make a determination as to whether or not that area will be added to the floodplain maps. That decision, based off of what Donnie told me, could take anywhere from a few months to up to 5 years.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay.
so Tom, what we decided based on that we're gonna now that we know that that has actually happened, we're gonna issue a final version of that report in advance and discuss it at next month's meeting. I know it says October on here. That should have been changed to November. And we're just going to give that status update and then list if that doesn't occur, then the other things the borough could explore doing down the road.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And the other things, you're still waiting for the cement things, Jim.
Yep.
All right, and I guess, yeah, I can tell you this, but that was, when I finally sent them that information or whatever, till back and forth with Michelle, and I got a hold of Mr. Swope out there at the county, he did not believe me that there was a disconnect or a missing piece there to the puzzle in that area. And when he finally zoomed in on the map, he was like, he asked me, how could that possibly be? I said, don't ask me. So I said, I certainly didn't draw it. I said, it looks like somebody hit it with their eraser, but I said, I don't know. So he said that, you know, it obviously needs some correcting. That's for sure. So we'll wait and see what happens, but it's in the pipeline, so to speak. And hopefully we get some results there quicker than 5 years. That's for sure. Okay, the Verizon stuff.
This is Mitch Shestock.
Oh,
I have
sorry,
two
Mitch.
quick questions, please.
ahead.
Number one, since you received the pipe for the, I guess, to go into the catch basins, but you have no knowledge of when the catch basins may arrive, is this a misnomer, so to speak, that it will be done this winter?
If the weather permits and things go correctly, we could start it this winter, yes. Not gonna
Yes,
promise,
but
but it could happen.
you have no idea of when you're going to get the catch basins, correct?
Yeah, I would hope before the end of the year, but it's not a great situation with the vendor, let's put it that way.
Well, that I understand. I would prefer if this would be changed to 2021 and it kind of leaves it open, because if I go out to the residents and say this winter, we were also, and I know you have no control over it. I totally understand. It was going to be the summer, it was going to be August, September, and I know you don't have control over a vendor. So just in passing, my recommendation would be 2021. The second question goes to the engineer. One or two of the neighbors observed the engineer and a council person after the, I think it was the last infrastructure meeting, walking through our backyards, I guess, observing stuff. And just for a knowledge base of our group, The intent of that walkthrough was for what? Since the walkthrough should have been done back, I think one is back in June when we requested one.
Well, Mitch, I've been out there several times doing walkthrough, but particularly Councilman Woodward asked for me to take him on a walkthrough when we happened to be up at Firella's property looking at their pipe situation, which is only a block away. And we finished that and we walked down the borough right away from one end to the other. We had to walk up somebody's driveway to get out from back there, but that was it. So that Councilman Woodward could see and report back to the other council members what kind of obstructions, trees, fences, sheds, swing sets, pools, all the things that are in the backyards there. Because, you know, from looking at a plan, you really can't get the feeling of walking out there and seeing it yourself. So that was the purpose of our walkthrough.
So a walkthrough was done by the same council person June of last year, and not much really has changed. So was the intent for the borough in the future to do something based on the observations?
I mean, John would want to answer that. We were there and John wanted to see exactly where the pipe physically was in the yards and what obstructions were in the way. And we walked down there.
I think part of the solution is a lot of those structures need to be removed. Is that correct, Jim?
Yes, that's one of the problems when the pipe reaches capacity, the overland flow gets blocked by the structures, the structures and the trees and grading the people have done in their yards over the years are making the issue worse.
Yeah, so I think that would be probably unpopular, but help alleviate some of the problem, not the whole problem, but.
Well, part of the problem is the pipe gets pressurized from the overflow that comes up from further up on Lincoln Avenue, and the water backs up into our yard. So you can move all you want, but it's not going to prevent the water from backing up into our yards. And as a citizen, and I know we've been down this road before, I know at least stuff on my property, and when I got the property, it was stated that permits, when the permits were obtained. So if the borough wishes to do that, they're going to be in for a rather long fight with citizens on this block.
Well, I can assure you.
Mainly because the borough approves stuff and now they're going back. Now, if the borough wants stuff removed and they're going to bear all the cost, that's a different story.
I can assure you that this is a troublesome situation for every member of council, and we're trying to do the right thing, and to determine what the right thing is becoming more and more difficult as we dig into the root of the problem. I don't know. I just don't. I can empathize with you because I wouldn't want to be in your position, but you know, we have a lot of residents we have to look out for, and this is just one member of council speaking, but we're doing our damnedest to try to figure it out. I can assure you that.
Oh, I'm not saying that you haven't. And I mean, the borough manager and council, I mean, we walked the path together. And as far as residents, once the recommendations came out, that was basically it, because not much more could be done.
Okay, yeah, and now we're still back to the FEMA stuff too. So I mean, there's a whole litany of things, unfortunately, that have jumped up as we dig deeper, as John said. But I agree, though, we are trying our very best. There's no doubt about that, and it is not an easy assignment here. There's no question about that. But we'll keep working on it, Mitch.
Oh, I agree, and we'll walk arm in arm with you. But at the same token, don't do stuff that's going to hurt us more than we already have. Okay.
All right. Okay. Verizon there. Michelle, is that something from you? Is she there?
Yeah, I don't know if Michelle's online, but Michelle and I have been working on draft language for aesthetic regulations. I think it's going to end up being an amendment to the zoning ordinance, because that's where we have the standards for wireless communication facilities. So anyway, it's not ready for presentation to the committee today, but Michelle and I are making progress on those regulations. And the intent is to try to make something that's both practical and will protect the community from the worst potential consequences visually of having these facilities installed in the community.
And I apologize, I am here. I just couldn't get to the mute button quick enough.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to add to what I said?
No.
Okay.
All right. While the school district and the road sign there.
I've sent the indemnification agreement that Chris drafted and wanted executed by the school district to the school district. We're waiting to receive a copy of that back from them.
Okay. Does anyone have any other?
I do.
Go ahead.
Melissa was going through the committee and board appointments. Joseph Zalewski, who is appointed to the JMA board as a representative for Wyomissing, his term expires at the end of this year. So I assume the committee needs to approve his reappointment, and neither one of us have contact information for him. So if you wouldn't mind sharing his contact information, Melissa would greatly appreciate that.
I'll get a hold of her. I'd spoken to him not too long ago, and I asked him about stuff from down there. I forget what it was. And I said something about, doing it again or something. And I think he's okay with doing it again, but I better not say until we contact. But I'll get that for who? Give it to Melissa?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll get that to her shortly.
Thank you.
Okay. I just have, I had two things here. I had a question that I wanted to ask about, and I did get some answer from, I guess it was Pat, about the trees on Wyoming by the tennis court at the school there. I saw we put, I think it's 5 back in there. And I know that there was discussion, and Pat reminded me with the agreement, I guess it was, about putting other trees in there, and I won't be around long enough to see them get big enough to drop their leaves on that tennis court again. But would it have been better to let that have no trees instead of having trees and bringing that up again sometime in the future, or not? Jim, I don't know what the.
The school and us were in agreement that we would replace the trees as long as the school district was okay with the variety. And Mark dialogued with the school directly. They're locusts, the same ones that are on Berkshire Boulevard, which drop little or no leaves.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to double check. I saw 5 go back in there, and I thought, oh, geez, didn't we just already have this? But okay, if they're good with it, well, there'll be a complete turnover of people by the time they get big enough. So I guess none of us will have to worry about it. That's for sure. All right. The other thing I had was just an observation, and it is with the school buses parked at on the rec, at the pool and stuff. I don't know, that to me now, and I don't know what's going to happen here. To me, that's a rec area. Looks nice as a rec area, and now it looks like a bus parking lot. And I just don't. It doesn't look right, is what I guess way I'm looking at it. It's an aesthetic thing more than it is anything else. And I don't know if others feel the same or not. And I know we've given them permission to do that, but looks terrible, I think, with nice recreation properties, having a bus parking lot with 10 or 12 buses parked there. Plus, people can't park there who even go take a walk. But comments or any other feedback from anybody?
My feedback to that is, I guess it looks like a bus stop, sure, but the school would have to park the buses up in the parking lot. Therefore, you would have people going to sporting events that would have to cross streets, walk, long distances, and some of them are elderly. I would say the look is probably only seasonal. I don't think they park there in the winter. So, yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, I think it's for the safety of the people going to the sporting events up there. And in this case, it's only the fall sporting events, which I guess are soccer and soccer.
Oh, I see what you mean. So when they want to go up there to the field, they can the elderly can park there and not get run over, I guess, right?
Yeah, you would hope it's the elderly, correct?
Well, okay, I don't know. I just, it looks, and I had talked to Tom Indy about some of them because some of them have even other names of schools on them and or signage on them that says Conrad Weiser, Schuylkill Valley, others. And I'm going, are they just like storing them there? I'm just, well, I don't know. It doesn't look good, but all right. Anyone else? For the good? All right.
Real quick, I was on mute, sorry. On Old Mill Road there, where the trail parking, the overflow, people are parking on the grass. I went by the other day, it was fairly nice, I think it was Saturday. There were about 8 to 10 cars. Is that Wyomissing Foundation property or borough property?
Oh, it's right near the bridge? Right near the bridge?
Right near the bridge, there's a parking area, and then people usually park off the road.
On the grass, yeah. I've seen that. I don't know. Michelle, any comment?
Yeah, I've seen that too. And I mean, my suggestion, it seems to be temporary. They're parked there for a short period of time, but I think that's something, we could either post additional signage that says no parking in the grass or ask the police department potentially to patrol it and, potentially ticket people who are parking in the grass. But I think if we're going to do that, we should at least post no parking in the grass signs first.
You're gonna
yeah. I mean, to me, it's unacceptable, and it's, a courtesy to have the trails and everything. And, if it's borough property, we don't want people digging up the street.
Oh, yeah, they put big tire, digs into the ground then and everything. Yeah, I agree.
Now, on Lynn Avenue, I just thought of this, on Lynn Avenue, that comes off of Penn Avenue. I belong to Atonement and have been doing outside work there. And people come up the street the wrong way and run into people. I don't think there have been accidents, but people coming off at Penn Avenue encounter people coming up the wrong way. Now, I know at the alley behind Atonement, and I guess there's a law office, it says that you cannot make a left turn. What has to be done to get one-way street arrows, signs posted at the Penn Avenue end?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that. Mr. Jenks, are you on the line here? Maybe he's not there. Was he here?
No, I just had to unmute.
Okay.
Yes, I did hear those comments.
We're going to shuttle that one over to your department there.
That's fine.
Okay, Mitch, I'll go to fire and police.
And one last question, the information sent to FEMA, could I request that through the right to know law?
We don't
public information.
We don't physically have a copy of that information, Tom, since that went through your office.
Yeah, it came through emergency management and it shipped out to the county. You can call out there and see what's You want to see like what the application was or something? Is that it, Mitch?
Well, no, my understanding from this meeting was information was sent to FEMA based on whether our area should be included in the floodplain or not.
Mitch, the way that works is they just send a list of the areas and circle it on the map. So I believe what they did was circle where the pipe is that says 500-year storm contained in pipe. Because that's what FEMA asked the municipalities and the county agencies to send them when they're looking at areas to update in the studies. So you don't send them like calculations or anything. You just identify the area.
Okay, but that was something that the borough did.
No, the county did it.
My understanding from the discussion that we had as far as the drainage problems that the borough went to FEMA
No,
to ask why we were not included in the floodplain.
no, that's not correct.
So that's not what this is, Mitch.
no.
So the
All right,
county has a hazard mitigation plan that they ask all of the emergency management coordinators throughout the county to provide updates to annually. As part of that, our emergency management coordinator sent information to the county stating this should be included on the hazard mitigation plan, and there's an error on the current floodplain map. Please send this to FEMA for their review.
All right, that's fine. Thank you for the clarification.
Mitch, the information that we got from FEMA was what the prior studies that they did in that back in the 80s. That's what we requested from them.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
You can give them you can call them though. You can call out to the county.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure they could give whatever list they sent.
Yeah. And I had just another thing then too quickly, and that is Jim, the pocket park. I don't know, you weren't at the meeting or something there, I guess, and we had a resident from the Heights we were discussing litter, and the pocket park is now ours to clean up, and we could not and did not know at the time who was responsible on your staff for checking trash and or cleanup there at the pocket park. Is someone assigned to that?
No, nobody's assigned to it. We've pulled weeds there once or twice, and I drive by there 10 times a day and have never seen any garbage there.
Okay, I'm asking, I just wanted to check. I didn't know if somebody was responsible, like if there's somebody like who picks up the trash, if they go by there and check. I didn't mean you should. I'm just checking, like if the guys are out picking up the trash cans, that they can swing by there and see if there's anything laying around. It's a very
really a non-issue. No issue there.
No issue?
No, there's never been a garbage issue there.
Well,
and I drive by it 10 times a day.
Okay. If there is, we'll get back to you.
All right.
Tom,
Yeah?
may I give a quick update in Western Berks Water Authority?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we missed you from the beginning, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
The pipe is in the ground. The pressure testing was successful. And we are now waiting for final okay from the DEP. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we should be running water.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
wow, after 8 years.
Yeah.
Lisa, I'll be up there for the wall, so when you leave, you don't need to set the alarm.
That's amazing.
Yes,
Okay.
but so anyway, things look good now.
Okay, good. Okay, anyone have anything else?
Hey, Tom, just since the pocket park was brought up,
Go ahead.
the that resident that had discussed about the syringes,
Yes.
I called the ER at Reading, and they said, if he would find more of those, they will gladly take those and properly dispose of them. All they'd have to do is take those into the emergency room.
Lieutenant Endy actually reached out to Rick Weinhofer and also said that he could bring the syringes police department for disposal.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, so,
Just an FYI with that too, those syringes are not only there, the guys, when they do empty the trash into parkland, come across syringes quite often. Just saying.
yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, is there a special procedure that we should be using with that then, or what? What do they do, Jim?
They wear gloves and just try not, when they pull the bags out, they just try not to let the bags bang against their body. They just try to keep them separate from their body when they're pulling them out. That's the, I'm not saying it's every day, but they've told me they've come across syringes on more than one occasion.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to tell you the truth, but okay. Well, it was a syringe issue along with some trash that was there before, I know, but okay. And I guess we should keep an eye out for that too. It's our area is what I mean, I guess. It's ours to keep clean. All right. Anything else? All right, if there isn't anything else, then I guess we stand adjourned.
Tom,
Yes, who is it?
John Woodward.
Yes, John.
Hey, one thing that may or may not be relevant to the borough, which I hope it could be at some point, is I was reading an article the other day about two Stanford professors that got the Nobel Prize in economics about auctions. And what they did was they found out a way to make sure the buyer didn't pay too much and the seller didn't get too little. And it was all, not all, mostly related to municipalities and governments and contracts and things like that. And I know our hands are tied by some sort of PUC regulations, but you know, if nothing comes of this, I'll never bring it up again. But I'm just kind of fascinated by it, and that's all I have, Tom.
All right. Interesting. Anyone else? Okay, then I guess we will stand adjourned. Thank you very much.